Good morning everyone, welcome to this vlog. I am currently by the sea. We are celebrating our first wedding anniversary and we're going on a really big hike, and I'm going to be filming clips here and there, and what we'll do is we'll get back to London and we'll draw some pictures from all the things that we see. It will be mostly voiceover because I'll be hiking. See you at the end of this footage. Enjoy. We're ready to go on the hike now, guys. But look at the weather. I don't know if you can see, but it is actually really coming down hard. So I'm going to do my best to get some nice scenic photos for us to draw from later, but I don't know how that's going to go with this rain. I'm going to do my best. Yeah, let's go. Let's get started. We've made it halfway, guys. Here are the beautiful Seven Sisters cliffs. Such a beautiful view. That's the cliff edge. Wow. That is actually so beautiful. There was a ship all the way there. I don't know if I'm getting it. All the way there. Another peak. We've done about 10 peaks already. almost at mile 11, 5 hours 40 minutes. Those are the Seven Sisters cliffs. We've walked all the way from Eastbourne. There's that lighthouse that we passed. We had to walk very, very far to get to that lighthouse. And now we're super far. We're actually in Seaford Head and we're doing the last peak. Let's go. Stunning. 7 cliffs of the Seven Sisters walk. Right at the end, that's Beachy Head. Stunning. There was another peak after I said this is the last peak, so we are hoping we're almost done. That down there, that's Seaford. You made it to Seaford. If you can hear me, that's okay. Way over there. Way past that hill. Let's finish this walk. That over there is Brighton. The last of the beautiful cliff. Well guys, wasn't that a fun adventure? Let me know what you think. Would you consider walking from Eastbourne to Seaford along the coast? It was a really fun thing to do. I definitely do not recommend doing it in the weather that we did it in. Now, the clips that I took were in the small moments the rain had stopped, but when we began the walk in the earlier clips with the horses, you can see that it was torrential raining. It was raining at the heaviest amount rain can fall, and there was thunder also. So I don't recommend. When we were walking up to the first bit of the walk, there is a tiny cafe of lots of people who had abandoned their walk, and they were all looking at us like we were crazy. So yeah, I do recommend the walk, but just not in the weather that we did it in. Remember, safety first. On top of the rain, there was also literal gale force winds. Now, you could see that it was pretty windy from the clips. However, that was the wind that I was able to film in. There was other wind where I was being blown off the cliff. Like, I'm so glad we had the walking sticks because of the rain and the wind. You needed them for grip, really. I didn't really need them much other than those reasons. So it all depends, you know, like if you take them, they fold down really well. So I do recommend just having them in case you need them. But yeah, there was gale force winds to the point where I'm trying to walk and breathe and I couldn't take in a breath because the wind was so strong that I couldn't breathe. And apparently that's pretty standard for hill walking and mountain walking and stuff. I know I haven't climbed a mountain, it was just like 12 peaks, but it kind of felt like a mini tutorial on how to walk a mountain because the weather just changes so quickly. It would go from torrential rain to like having to open my jacket and put my sunglasses on, feeling slightly warm, to like gale force winds where I couldn't breathe. And for most of the walk, the wind was blowing the opposite way. So the walk was much harder because we're walking against the wind. Lots of people were walking the other direction. I think that's the more popular direction, maybe, from Seaford to Eastbourne. So you're not walking against the wind, which makes it easier. But I just really like the views from Eastbourne to Seaford, so I like walking it that way. But either way is good. The views are great either way. The food at that cafe, I think it is definitely because you do exert yourself so much, especially on a day where it was freezing and raining, but the food just tasted like heaven on earth. It was probably like just fine food, but when you're at that point, you're just like, wow, this is gourmet. This is 10 out of 10. I mean, there's nothing bad I can say about it. I just think it did taste genuinely good, and that's how I'm going to leave it in my memories. But yeah, you definitely need that pit stop to use the bathroom and to eat. One thing I learned from doing this hike before is the last time we did this hike, actually, we stopped hiking at the point where the river comes in and you have to walk inland. They say you walk inland for a mile, but I checked on my watch, right? And it went from like mile 8 to mile 11. So it's like 3 miles, that walk, going all the way around the river. And yeah, so we were at that point and we did it at, I think it was October we did it in. So we were losing light very quickly, which meant by the time we hit Seaford Head peak, it would be pitch dark. And I was thinking, I'm not going to fall off a cliff. So we had to end the walk there. So that's why I was just so happy that we did the full walk, even though it was in probably some of the worst conditions you could walk it in. There's only one other couple doing the full walk, which we were surprised by because last time we did it, there were a lot more people and it was later in the year, but it's definitely because of the weather. There were a lot of tourists there in the main part. So where the cafe is called Burling Gap, and where the what's the other place called? Oh, the Seven Sisters. The actual Seven Sisters Cliffs is a short part of the full walk from Eastbourne to Seaford. That bit I would say is easy. It is a lot of up and down, but you can do that in an hour and a half. It's standard. It's fine. But yeah, so there's lots and lots of tourists at that part of the Seven Sisters Cliffs, and then at the Burling Gap as well. And we would just see like a constant like flow of people here and there, flurry of people, but no one was doing the whole walk apart from this one other couple. And we did beat them, not that it's a competition, but they were right behind us. And we walked the harder route, so we walked all the way along the cliff edge, and they took a more inland route, which was quicker, because for huge chunks of the walk we couldn't see them anywhere. But I think we did it the proper way. You're supposed to do it along the cliffs, although it was kind of like, you know, a bit scary because of the wind and the rain. Luckily there was no lightning, because that's when it's scary. You'd have to like, I don't know, lie on the floor. So, don't do that, but definitely do the walk. It was great. And I was so proud because my legs didn't even hurt the next day. I was like, I've been doing those deadlifts. Like, this is definitely helping. I'm so happy that my legs don't even hurt. It was 41,000 steps, which I've never done before in a day. And I think it was like almost the length of a marathon. I'm not sure if that's correct, but it was a far distance. And it's quite hilarious when you're on the bus back, because the bus just moves so quickly and you're like, wow, it just took me so long to walk here. But yeah, it was really, really nice. I really loved it. And we're already planning our next walk. We're thinking we will walk from Seaford to Brighton. It's a much simpler walk. And yeah, it's just like not as far and not as challenging, I don't think. This walk is not meant to be challenging. A lot of walkers who walk or hike, they say that it's quite a like easy walk or medium walk. But I think because of the added weather things that were happening to us, it made it much harder, if that makes sense. So yeah, and we did it in 7 hours. You can do it in 6.5 or 6, but we stopped and took lots of pictures and video and stuff like that. And I would constantly change from like opening my jacket, putting my sunglasses on, but those things you kind of have to do for your own comfort, so definitely do them. And we didn't stop at every single thing to look at because we've done the walk before, and also because it was just torrential raining, and I just felt like if I can't really see, I'd rather carry on walking. So that's what we did. And yeah, let me know what you think of the walk if you're going to try it. Lots of foreign tourists go to that area, but lots of local tourists also go to that area, meaning like people from the UK and also people from the South Downs. That area is called the South Downs. It's definitely where I would live if I didn't live in London, if I wasn't from London. I would love to live there just because it's so idyllic. But you've got to remember, this is England, and most of the time these places are freezing cold. But I mean, you see me, I was happy during that walk because I find the cold invigorating, which a lot of people don't. And those people are probably normal, but I just think like I've never felt more alive doing this walk on this terrible weather day. And that's the kind of feeling I really enjoy. It makes me feel very human. I think it connects us to like what humans initially were, being people that lived outdoors and were connected to the outdoors and stuff like that. I just love nature. So that's probably, I don't know, there's probably lots of reasons why we enjoy those things and we don't really know why fully. Okay, so this is an art channel, it's not a hiking channel, so thanks for sticking around for the hiking vlog. I decided to take some screenshots. Now, it was raining really bad and the wind and everything, so I couldn't really steady the camera. I didn't really want to take loads of time out of my walk to photograph and film everything. So I only got a few screenshots of locations I thought that we could paint or draw, and I'm going to have them in the description so you can download them and make your own artwork if you wish, if you feel inspired to do so. You should definitely tag me on Instagram. My Instagram is at Sanya's Sketchbook. I'll put it on the screen. I'll put it on in the description below. But yeah, let's create a little art challenge, a little art community. And here I'm just doing a very quick for me, watercolour scene from the vlog, which is of the Beachy Head Lighthouse, the iconic red and white lighthouse against the ocean and the sky and the white cliffs. I just did a simple outline in pencil and then just went straight in with the watercolour as you saw, and I'm using a teeny tiny brush, and then on top I just go over with 4 details with pencils. I think I use mostly Prismacolor pencils. There are some luminance pencils used, just whatever I had handy really, and that's all I used onto it. The second panel, which I'm starting on, that one is a screen grab also. I definitely didn't take any photos of this scene because it was torrentially raining at the start of the walk. But I just felt like, oh my god, how harrowing is this scene with the full rain and the ocean behind and this weird red tree that has clearly been bent by the wind. And I just thought it was kind of spooky, but also very cool and very picturesque. And I didn't take any photographs, but I did take some screenshots while I was filming for you. So that's what this one is based off. And this one I did mostly an underpainting, or like the first layer in gouache. Is this gouache? No, it's watercolour. Sorry. And it's Japanese watercolour. And then I went over it for details with pencil. So you'll see how that builds up in a moment. I really wanted to do 4 panels for this video, but I did get sick, obviously. So I've been under the weather, so I've had to set my goals at a more realistic level, and I've done 2 panels for you instead of 4, but I think that's all good. think that just shows reality. Yeah, and this scene, the second scene is much moodier, so I'm using like darker colours for the sky and the ocean, and I feel like sometimes the ocean looks like that, you know, especially in England. I was saying earlier, before I went off on a completely different tangent, that I learned some things from the first time I did this walk. So initially, I learned that essentially don't take breaks. Now, breaks is what people say you should take for safety reasons, but in my case, I only stopped for the first time at that Berlin Gap cafe. And I think we said it was about a third of the way of the full walk that we were doing. So not just the Seven Sisters, but all the way to Seaford. And actually, we're not really sure, but I think we said it was less than half. So I remember taking that break, feeling fine, but then afterwards I was significantly tired, if that makes sense. So we kept stopping. We would stop to sit down, we'd stop to drink water, look at the view. And then I realized, oh my God, my legs have like given up. I think it's that thing of like when you're running a race or when you're doing something at work and you know you just have to get it done. So your body is in like getting it done mode. And the breaks made my body think, oh, like we're finished, even though we were not finished. And so my body had relaxed too much and it was way harder. Like the effort level was harder in the second half. Now, when we did it this time round, it was also harder in the second half, but that's just because obviously you're tired. So that's to be expected. But I didn't let my body go to sleep because I didn't take excessive breaks. Even when we were in the cafe, I was really aware of that happening to me last time. So I was like, okay, this time I'm going to eat. And as soon as I'm done eating, I'm going to the bathroom. As soon as I'm done in the bathroom, we're going to keep walking. And you also kind of had to have that attitude because of how bad the weather was as well. So that's what we did. And I didn't really get tired. Like I didn't have any pains or aches. I didn't have any limps. I didn't really have anything other than walking at a slower pace because I was tired and also, you know, the wind and everything. So yes, and I also did some research and watched some videos of other people hiking, and they said the same thing. They said when they took the long break, it was much harder to complete. So I was like, okay, this is a thing that happens to some people. I'm one of those people. I'm going to not stop. But obviously stopping is necessary for safety as well. But I think, yeah, just make of that what you will. Maybe it will help you and maybe it won't. The other thing that I really obviously highly recommend is having the sturdiest good walking shoes. Our walking shoes were brand new the day before we went on this hike. We left it so last minute. We both had walking shoes that we've had for 8 years or something, and they both pairs have holes in, so we were like, we cannot be walking in the rain with holey walking shoes. And my pair said extreme waterproofing, extreme weather waterproof shoes. Within an hour, the toes of both shoes were wet, soaking wet. That's how much it was raining. That's how much these shoes could not keep up with the weather that we were walking in. And I even looked them up on, like, looked up their reviews and everything. Nothing but 5-star reviews. So I realised, honestly, like, I was in extreme weather. So at first I was like, hey, this is not all right. I need to get a refund. But then I realised I think I just walked in extreme weather because they were super comfortable, very good grip. Everything was great about them. This is not an ad. That's why I've not said the brand name. If you want me to tell you what it is, just leave me a comment down below and I'll link it for you. But yeah, and then the other thing that made a huge difference to my life was the cap I was wearing. I bought that cap maybe a year or two ago at Muji on a whim, and it's actually, I bought it so I could run in, like to run outside, because my sunglasses fall off and all this. They don't really fall off, but they're just annoying. So I don't have sports sunglasses. And I was like, I just need a cap. I just need a cap so the light's not in my eye so that I can run. And I've been on one run with them, or one or two because of my asthma. But I prefer running indoors. Well, I don't prefer it. I love to be outdoors, but running on a treadmill is so much easier for me because of my asthma. But anyway, this cap was magic. It kept my face completely dry in this torrential rain, and my jacket is from Mountain Warehouse, and it's so old. It's so old, and we waterproofed it like 2 days before. You don't have to get a new jacket. You can just buy this stuff that re-waterproofs your clothes, and it's really cheap, and you just do it in your own washing machine, and it was literally better than brand new. I was watching the droplets glide off like I'm a duck, and I was like, yes, this is what this is for. So I was pretty comfortable. I wore leggings that were not waterproof, but they were moisture wicking, and they were super comfortable. So I felt very happy about my whole outfit. I did do a smart thing, and I put two extra pairs of socks in the backpack, but the backpack was not waterproof, so they got soaked. So next time you can either get waterproof backpack or get the thing that goes over your backpack to help it become waterproof, or very simple, just put it inside a plastic bag and tie a knot, and that way it will stay dry. But luckily my feet were not too wet, and because of the dry stints, they did dry out, so it wasn't too uncomfortable. And yeah, I just loved it. We didn't have any blister patches with us. I do recommend taking them. I didn't get any. I think my husband might have. And one other thing I did was I gashed my leg open, the back of my ankle, on some brambles when I was trying to get some pictures of some sheep. So I didn't even realise I gashed my foot open at the back of my foot. And then I was like walking away thinking, that stings. And luckily the night before I had packed a first aid kit. So I had ibuprofen, paracetamol, and 2 massive plasters, and it worked a treat. It made the rest of the walk doable. My white sock didn't have to get soaked in blood. And yeah, I was just really happy overall by how much we winged this walk, but also how much we got right. So I hope that helps if you're interested in doing the walk. Last time I did this walk, I saw people doing art on the cliff. They'd just like stop on the cliff and like paint and draw, and I was thinking, yes, like you are living the life. But it would have not been possible in the weather that we walked it in. And I did take a tiny sketchbook on the trip, but I left it in the hotel room because I was like, there's no way I'm letting my tiny sketchbook get ruined. But yeah, there you go, guys. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to leave a comment down below and to hit subscribe. I'll leave a download link for pictures from the walk, and you can tag me and draw your own and see how you find these visuals, if you find them inspiring or not. I will see you again very soon next Monday at 6:30 p.m. BST as usual. And I hope you stay inspired, keep making your art, spend some time in nature, stay well, and I'll see you then. Bye.